Hi and welcome to King's Football Show. Was supposed to be breaking news about Jorginho signing for Arsenal, but unfortunately, yesterday my daughter had an accident at the school, so I had to cancel the video, unfortunately. But she's feeling much better today, so I decided to do the video now instead to speak about Jorginho signing for Arsenal, the pros, the cons. Should we have signed him? Should we just not sign anyone? Was it good? And for me, you know, emotionally at first when we got into it, I'm not gonna lie, I was against it. I was like, no, I don't want another Chelsea outcast. And, you know, we were so on the high with the Caicedo links and, you know, the Bamba links and even the guy that put in bid for his release clause, Subamendi, but he didn't want to come. So, you know, you had that. And then you get like Jorginho. And that was a massive, massive kind of disappointment at the point. But, you know, sleeping on it, looking more into it, reading the statements from the manager, looking at what Jorginho is good at and what he can add to the team. I'm come to terms with it. And the thing is, what we'll get Jorginho is everything that Lokonga doesn't have. So Lokonga doesn't have any experience. He doesn't have the winning mentality, and he's not capable of playing the number 6 role the way Arteta wants him to play. So with Jorginho, we get someone who's 21 years old. He's played several seasons in the Premier League. I think he's won the 2021. He won the Euros with Italy. 2020 won the Champions League with Chelsea. He also, I think he's won the FA. No, it's not won the FA Cup, but he's won the Club World Cup, the Super Cup. So he's won quite a lot, you know, with Chelsea and even Italy. So he's a player who's won a lot, and he's someone who the managers admired for a very long time. Ever since he was the assistant manager at Man City, he wanted Jorginho. And I remember when he came to Arsenal in the 2020 window, he wanted Jorginho as well, but Chelsea didn't want to sell him to him. And obviously, when we couldn't land the Caicedo deal for many reasons, but I think the main reasons were two things. Number one, the agency of Caicedo. I think they really pissed off Brighton. And number two, the bids where we were putting in, for some reason, Brighton thought they were way too low and kind of felt it was some kind of a disrespect, even though I don't agree, but each to their own. Each to their own. And we got Luke here in the building. Let me bring Luke in. How you doing, mate?
Hi, King. You well?
Yeah, much better today. Obviously, I was going to do the show yesterday, but with the incident with my daughter, I had to cancel it, you know. But yeah, I'm good. How you doing? How are the kids?
Yeah, no, they're all okay, luckily. Is there an echo?
Yeah, I feel like there's an echo. Don't know why. Not a lot, but a bit. And big up Nippon as well. Thank you for tuning in. Big up Nav. Yeah, so we're doing the show now, bro. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the whole? I know you were critical yesterday. Now that you slept on it, are you still as mad and angry with Jorginho coming to Arsenal? Where's your head at?
No, I've calmed down. I think my initial reaction was based on I've been screaming out for us to buy a defensive midfielder since last summer.
Yeah,
and we didn't sign any midfielders in the summer. It seemed like we weren't bothering at all in this January window until Elneny got the injury. Yeah, I think Jorginho is coming in because Elneny got injured, just like when we was going for Douglas Luiz on the last day of the summer window. And I think And I suppose as well, based on the fact that we've signed players from Chelsea before, that it hasn't worked out. And also the fact that it seemed like we was going back on what our plan was. I remember Edu made that comment about not signing players who were over 26 in London, on big wages, hard to get rid of. And here we come along and offer Chelsea 12 million for one.
Yeah. And I think that's a fair statement. And I think that's the reason why he's on such a short contract. They don't want to put him on a 4-year or 5-year deal because of his age. And I'm a bit like you, first when I heard the rumors, I was like, nah, it must be a joke. I was like kind of in denial. I was like, nah, it's just the media putting it out there. And then when I finally realized it was going to happen, I was really kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to get Caicedo, because I remember last season when I saw him play, I was like, man, this is the perfect player. Forget about Bissouma. I want Caicedo. Everybody was on the Bissouma train, but I was like, nah, I think Caicedo is really the real deal. I think he has, he reminds me so much of N'Golo Kante, and I think he can be as good or even better. I'm not saying he is now. He's just 21 years old, but you can really see the potential of certain players. You see them play, and you be like, wow, he's going to be a star one day. So, but the thing with what we get now, Jorginho, and I was saying this earlier, is that the problem we have with Samuel Lokonga is that, one, he's inexperienced. 2, he doesn't know how to play number 6. And 3, he doesn't have that mentality. At least with Jorginho, we get a player who Arteta loves the way he plays the number 6. He is experienced. He's ready to come in and play. If Partey needs to rest or he's injured, he can play. When it's Samuel Lokonga, the players are telling him where he should play, and that's not a good sign. And we get someone who, we have such a young squad, so we get another player who's kind of experienced and who's ready to pull us over to really continue fighting for the title. Because for me, that's what's most important. Forget about the emotional attachment that we don't like Chelsea and we don't want their rejects and all of that. If we lift the title in May and he's part of that, it's a win. And that's what I care about. Like, we need to win now. Next season, we don't know what's going to happen with Newcastle, with Chelsea, with Man City, with Man United, with these clubs getting new owners. We don't know what's going to happen. As good as we are now, as many young players we have with potential that keep getting better, next year it could be a whole nother ballgame. And next year we're going to have to play in the Champions League again. And most of these players, they've never played in Champions League, but they've played very little in Champions League. So even like players like Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, Martinelli, these players, Xhaka, they've not really played in Champions League. And with Odegaard, he's played there, but not a lot because he was never a main guy at Real Madrid. Partey is the one who's played there, Zinchenko and Jesus. But none of them have won the Champions League. At least Jorginho has won the Champions League. So again, we get someone who's going to add something that we don't really have in the squad. And those are the bits that I like. And the fact that the way we play football, I think is going to suit Jorginho more because he's very good on the ball. He's a very good passer. He's not the best in defense. I know that there's a lot of stats, and I'm going to show that he's quite decent. Like, his numbers are decent, but I always say that stats are important, but you need to actually watch football as well, and then you read the stats, and then you make a conclusion. You can't just base it on what you see, and you can't just base it on stats. So obviously, the reason why he needs to make a lot of tackles and a lot of interceptions probably because he's quite slow, and he's not the strongest guy. So where Partey can go in with his physicality, where he doesn't even need to tackle you and can get the ball. He's probably going to have to tackle you because he's not stronger than you. So if he's going to get the ball somehow, he's going to have to make a tackle. But luckily, the way we press and how hard the front three plays in defense, our central midfielders, they don't really get isolated in transition. So that's why I'm not too worried if he has to play. And he is quite an intelligent player, especially on the ball. And I said it before, I'm more happy that we got Trossard than Mudryk, because I think Trossard is ready now to be a starter, to play, and he's more versatile. Where Mudryk is a great talent, but we got Martinelli, he's a great talent. Got Saka, he's a great talent. You know, we got even like players like Balogun, Eddie. These are all young players. Marquinhos, another one. So for me, what we needed were more experienced players. So I'm not too bothered with Trossard, but obviously, if you go for your number one target, you can't always miss out on it. And that's something where, for me, that's my criticism. I think when it comes to renewing player contracts, I think it's done excellent. When it comes to these kind of middle big signings, your Zinchenko, your Jesus, your Ben White, I think he nails them, But when it comes to the bigger ones where, your Chelseas are out there, your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, these big clubs that are as big or even bigger than Arsenal, I think there is where he needs to either improve.
It's when he's trying to negotiate. It's when
he
has to negotiate with a club that we don't have a prior sort of relationship with, where there's no kind of connection between Arteta and that player. That's where we've missed out on. Like, we got Jesus and Zinchenko mostly because of Arteta's relationship with them. Obviously,
I think that's fair. Partey was a release clause, so it's like there's not a lot of negotiation. Just need to get the wages.
Now we do have a relationship. Yeah, we have a relationship with Brighton. So you'd think Caicedo could be a deal we do in the summer, if that's who we still want to go for. But if they decide to go for, say, Declan Rice, that will be more of a test for Edu, because although we don't have a bad relationship with West Ham, but I can't remember the last time we signed a player from them.
No, I think we've sold them a couple. They've got a couple of players from us, but I don't remember us buying from West Ham.
No, certainly
a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember selling them John Hartson back in the day.
I think Fabianski went there.
Fabianski went there.
Freddie Ljungberg went there.
Freddie Ljungberg went there. Then Ian Wright went there at the end of his career as well. But in terms of going after Declan Rice, when Chelsea, so say Chelsea become involved, because they if we don't strike when the iron's hot, that's when they will come in and they'll just go, Arsenal are, faffing about. We'll just put the money down on the table. And that's my concern has been, when a club says we want 100 million, we go in at 60 million. And it just, I think that puts the backs up of the selling club. They just think these guys aren't serious. We're saying to you 100 million and you're coming at us with 60 million. And I think...
I think you at least have to start around 80, 85 million.
Yeah, because if obviously you want, as the buying club, you want to get that money down. You don't want to pay 100 million. But if they're wanting 100 million, they're probably not going to go down to 60 million, are they? Or they're not going to go down to 70. Maybe you can get them down to 85, 90 at the most. And it's the same for us. Say in the summer we decide, say for like Saliba, we can't get Saliba to sign a new contract. We've then got to sell him. If we say we want 75 million for him or something, and someone comes in offering 30 million, we're just going to go F off, mate. You're not serious. I can't hear you. Oh. Okay. So as I was saying, guys, with my opinion with negotiating, that's where my problem with Edu has been, or not just him, perhaps the whole team behind him.
Yeah, sorry, I got a call.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm back. Yeah, but I agree, and I think this summer, is gonna say a lot about Edu, because I do think that Arteta is proving that he's a quality manager and he's actually learning from his mistake, and he's getting much better. I think now we need to give him the tools where he can not just fight for Premier League, but also fight for the cups as well. Not like now we kind of had to sacrifice the FA Cup because the squad wasn't good enough to go for FA Cup, Europa League, and the Premier League. So I do think that we need to get a deeper squad, and we need to get one or two really kind of super signings, statement signings that will tell the clubs out there that, listen, Arsenal are back, and we are back to stay at the top. And I think if we can manage to do that, then I will have more confidence in it. I think if it fails again this summer to not land a big player, then maybe it's time for him to have another role. Maybe he should just concentrate player renewals and let someone else do transfers.
That's what I was saying in our private chat was, and I've said it before in Tariq's Discord, and I don't quite get. It almost seems as if some of the fan base have some sort of emotional attachment to Edu, or as if it's okay, guys, to criticise your club. It doesn't make you less of a fan, okay? And I was just saying, perhaps we have someone else lead negotiate. He can still be part of it, learning that position, but because he's never done this, has he? He came from the Brazilian FA.
Yeah,
he's never
been. Yeah, it's a new role for him. Yeah.
And obviously he was a former player.
Just 1 minute. I think the delivery is here. I'll be straight back.
Okay. Yeah, so to everyone else still listening, watching, I was just suggesting that perhaps we have someone else leading these negotiations, like being a chief negotiator with Edu. And, I've heard of this Richard Garlick, someone that I know rates him quite, who's worked with him, rates him quite highly, and he thinks that he should have a bigger role. I think his official title is head of football operations. Edu's title is sporting director. I've got to be honest, I don't really know what these titles mean. It'd be easier if, because I'm, a fan of NFL and NHL, and it's easier to understand the roles in there because in those sports you have a head coach clearly defined what he does, and you have a GM called general manager clearly defined what they do. So as far as I'm concerned, Edu seems like that kind of role, if I'm not mistaken, but perhaps we involve more of this Richard Garlick, and hopefully when Arteta says this is my main guy, we can go out and get that main guy, because things are going to change in football. Manchester United possibly could have new owners by the summer. That means Declan Rice might go there. It might Newcastle, especially if they get top four, they might fully open up the checkbook. They might go for him. So when we go for these deals, we can't be and ahhing and go, no, do you know what? We'll offer 60 mil when they want 100. Then that gets rejected, and we go back in at 65. Meanwhile, these clubs come in and they just get the player. And I understand a lot of fans say, well, we can't spend crazy money. You can't spend 100 million. On Woodrick, you can't spend 100 million on Caicedo. But I think if someone is going to be your main guy, you can make the exception. if that's who Arteta really wants. You know, if Arteta's saying, I really want this guy, but it's okay because if you can't get him, I've got these other people you can go for, then that's fine, as long as that person is perhaps at least on a similar level, even if they aren't as developed as that main guy.
Yes. But yeah, overall, what would you rate the transfer window for Arsenal with Trossard, Jorginho, and Kibio?
You know, my it's gone up since. I think, having thought about it, you know, I can't really include Kivio as part of the rating so much because I don't know that player that well. I'm trusting Arteta. I am trusting Arteta on that because I've got a choice to, you know, if I don't know the guy, I can't say he's rubbish.
Yeah.
Trossard I really like.
Yeah.
And I think Jorginho, I'll have to trust Arteta again. I'm not convinced on him. I've got my doubts about him, but hopefully he won't have to be used. And like you said, he could be a good person to have in that dressing room on the training pitch. Yeah, with his history of what he's won. So I think on balance, I will give it a 6.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'll give it a 7 because I do know a bit more about Kibio. Not a lot, but a bit more. I did watch him a bit in World Cup. But the fact that we have now a cover for Gabriel and that the next man in line isn't Rob Holding, for me, that's important because you never know. You know, we've been blessed with injuries when it comes to Gabriel, Saliba, and White, but you know, you never know. And in a title race, I'm sorry, I don't want to start Rob Holding in Premier. No. It's been a good servant for the club, but I feel like quality-wise, we've leveled up, and probably coming this summer, his service is done. We really need to move on from him. So I think that's good, and I think the fact that I really like Trossard. I wanted him since last year. I think he's one of the best attackers that was outside top 6, and I think the fact that he can play centre forward, he can play right wing, left wing, wing back, number 10, and the fact that he's very effective in the final third. I like that. As much as I really love Martinelli and he works hard and he presses and tracks back, he can be a bit ineffective, and it's good that we've got an alternative that is older, more experienced, and can give us something a little bit different. So where Martinelli gives us a lot of pace, he can give us a lot of, you know, technical ability and clinical ability. So I think that was a good sign. I really like the Trossard deal. And as I said, where we are right now, kind of makes sense to get experienced players, because in the past, when we've been in title runnings, you know, 2008 and 2015, we never added experience to those, you know, squads. It was always inexperienced. And that's why, even though I don't like Chelsea players coming to Arsenal, we're getting a really experienced players. So when players maybe start becoming nervous, he can be one of them, you know, can come with that mentality, that winning mentality, and prove to them, listen, I've done this, I've been in this situation, you need to do this. And, you know, we kind of need that. You know, we saw in the FA Cup when Samuel Conga comes in, and I don't like to bash young players, but, you know, he was all over the pitch, you know, and it was a really nervous performance from him. And I think the fact that we can send him on loan as well is a plus for the club, because I think Lokonga needs a loan. He needs to be playing week in and week out. And it's going to show us if, okay, is he ready next season, or will he need another loan, or should we just cash in? So at least we're not in a desperate situation. And I do think that Jorginho is a better player than Elneny. So we've kind of upgraded on the Elneny replacement already. And then come the summer, now we just need to go and get that Declan Rice or Caicedo or even both. If we get both, we don't need to stay with Elneny. Or if he wants to be fifth or sixth choice, then he can be that. So, and I think that if we win the Premier League, I think we're all gonna look back and be like, okay, maybe that January window made sense. We got some experienced players and they helped us. And I think if we don't win it, we can say, okay, we did a lot, but now we have to learn and understand that we need to get our first choices as well. So I think my final judgment would be at the end of season, whenever we finish or the way we play, that's where I can be like, okay, this is how much that window actually helped us. Because I do think that last year we missed out on top 4 because we didn't sign it. I think for me, I was furious that January window. There were good opportunities. There were players that expensive. Could have loaned Kulusevski. He's an Arsenal fan. Could have done that because I think it was Spurs' second or third choice. They went for Adama Traore first, and I think they went for another player. That didn't work. That's when they went in for Kulusevski. We could have done that. Yeah. I think Bruno Guimaraes, the fee, it wasn't a big fee. It was like 35 million or something like that. Very good player. We could have gone for him. We didn't do that. I think in the end, we saw all the teams that kind of strengthened, Liverpool strengthened their squad, Spurs strengthened their squad, and they went on, and even Newcastle, all of them went on to have better end of the season. Whereas for Arsenal...
So that Newcastle game, when we went up there, and that's where we lost top 4, and Bruno Guimaraes had a really good game, didn't he? And he scored as well. I think he scored the second goal.
Yeah.
That was just... after that game, I was so down and angry. I wanted Arteta out. I wanted all the players I was really unhappy with. I thought that they didn't have the right mentality to be at Arsenal. But it's funny when you watch when I watched the All or Nothing series. What I loved about that was I saw Arteta's reaction. He is a winner. He has got a winner's mentality, and the way he laid into them, the way he laid into Everton, really kind of changed my mind on him.
Yeah,
and also the way he talks about the fans.
Yeah,
I was just saying because sometimes when managers or they talk about the fans, sometimes you just think that they're just kind of putting on a bit of PR. But in that documentary, you saw how much he actually does care about the fans and how important he thinks we are.
Yeah.
And the fans have responded.
And I think it's shown. I think the evidence is there. The club has done so much to build a relationship with us fans. And I think the fact that we are so close to the club now, the fact that, they changed so much with the structures, with the symbols, with the army, the Ashburton army, that I really appreciate what he's done, because for years, I'm not gonna lie, I felt that I didn't have a relationship with the club. I felt like as a supporter, it was almost as if the only thing they cared about was us paying for season tickets and buying merch. That's it. But I do feel like now it's changed and it's good. It's a much better relationship. And as you said, you could really see whenever we didn't win, he was so angry. And he's really risen, the standards. And, he doesn't accept mediocrity. He doesn't accept you're not working too hard. We've seen it in games. If you're not in the game, it will sub you. Even if it is at halftime or before halftime, it will sub you off. Yeah. And it shows so much maturity for such a young manager. And I've totally done 360 on my view. And I'm really excited that he's our manager right now. And I do think he will become a monster manager. I think even when he leaves Arsenal, he's gonna go and do good stuff. But yeah, big up Nippon from NS Sports TV. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a minute, King.
Yeah, it's definitely been. So what's your feeling? You know, your team has been the most active team maybe ever in the January window. How many players did you end up signing? Can you name all of them?
Enzo Fernandez, Benoit Badiashile. I'm convinced that this Benoit guy is Senegalese, of Senegalese origin.
Which one?
Badiashile.
I'll check it with my cousins.
Yeah, Benoit Badiashile, David Fofana, João Felix, Mikhailo Mudryk. Even though I think Trossard's a better player and you have him, so fair play, you won that battle. But I honestly think, don't you think Chelsea fans celebrating the departure of Jorginho, shouldn't that be early warning signs for Arsenal fans?
One thing I will say, fans in general, we are emotional, right? And we have a view on a player, and that's it. And I'll give you an example, like Granit Xhaka, for example. I think 99% of every when he was linked to leaving the club, we were celebrating and we wanted him to leave. And it's all proven us that we were wrong. It was the right thing to keep him. It was the right thing to renew him. I think with Jorginho, I think the way Chelsea play and how much the central midfielder needs to work and how many new players and new systems and new formations.
The thing is,
he doesn't get
Jorginho,
the best out of Jorginho.
No, the thing
I think
is,
when you
when
look at
Jorginho was in our Champions League run, the thing is, in both cup runs Jorginho was involved in, Champions League with Chelsea and the Euros with Italy, he's always been surrounded by better midfielders. Kante and Kovacic for Chelsea, and Barella and Verratti for Italy.
Yeah.
He's always been surrounded by better players. That's why he looks so good, in my opinion.
Okay, but obviously you are entitled to your opinion, but I do think it's a bit unfair to say. I think almost every player looked good when they played good players, right? But I think he was a good player in that system, right? If you look at Arsenal,
but still, wouldn't you take a prime Kante over a prime Jorginho? Be honest with yourself.
100%. Of course, and I didn't say that. Obviously, Kante is one of the best midfielders we've seen, especially in the past 20 years in Premier League.
He's up fantastic. There. For me, if you put their primes, Kimmich, Casemiro, and Kante, if you put them in any order, it won't look out of place.
Yeah, but they are also two very different players, Jorginho and Kante. They have different. Kante is more of a box-to-box, energetic midfielder who breaks play, who puts in the first press, who transports the balls over long distance. Jorginho is more of a deep-lying playmaker who wants to break the line to passing and control the game. So they're two very different. And that's what he's come to do at Arsenal. And if you put him in the midfield, you can even play Partey in the Xhaka role where he used to play for Atletico Madrid, and you can play Odegaard, and then you can play Jorginho behind them. That will also work.
I am concerned if
Jorginho will not start for you guys. I'm telling you now, he'll be a bench player.
And it's a good bench player to have.
Yeah. Are you worried though, King? The one of the things I was most worried about is if Partey does get an injury where he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, we've got a midfield of Jorginho and Xhaka. That's a real quieter, slow, immobile.
That's an accident waiting to happen. Jorginho, I can tell you as a Chelsea fan, Luke. Jorginho is a red card waiting to Jorginho is a red card waiting to happen. He is always either one move away from being sent off or doing something dumb.
But does he get sent off often? I want to ask you, does he get sent off often?
No, but he's always, when you get close to, but you're not really.
Yeah.
He is always that. But then he is either that one step away from doing something stupid that will end up like in a goal-scoring opportunity or a goal, or something that could lead to a red card.
I mean, obviously, Arteta knows more about how he wants to play, but so it's just one of my main reasons of concern was with him is when we had Granit Xhaka playing as a DM, he was basically a walking red card every game. It seemed. I know his record isn't as bad as what I've just made out there, but he always, like as Nippons just said, he always seemed he could get sent off in most games that he played.
That was Jorginho for us. What the old Xhaka was for you guys, that was exactly what Jorginho was for us.
So all of a sudden, we've moved him to this other role where he's more suited. If Thomas Partey was to get an injury, hopefully he doesn't. But we're almost going back to those days where essentially we've got Granit Xhaka either back there playing as DM or we've got him as number 8 with Jorginho. That's my concern.
But we have to consider things as this as well. When Granit Xhaka played DM for Arsenal, the centre back was Mustafi, Socrates. The midfield was Torreira or Ceballos. Like, it wasn't a good team, and it wasn't a team that were comfortable on the ball. Whereas now it's beasts like Gabriel, Saliba, got Zinchenko slotting in that midfield, who's going to help him as well. You see when Zinchenko plays, almost plays like a midfielder. You got Odegaard who also likes to drop sometimes and get the ball and transport it to Saka. It's a different system from when Xhaka was playing, and it's a totally different team as well. And when you got an organized team, pace in the central pitch isn't that valuable as we may think it is. Because if you look at some of the best trios in football, whether it's Busquets and Xavi and Iniesta, or is Kroos, Modric and Casemiro, or it's Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, it's not pace in those midfield. What you will find is a lot of technical ability, players that are comfortable in possession and know where
even our midfield with Conte. Even our midfield when we won the league with Conte was that Matic, Kante.
Matic, yeah, exactly.
Matic, Kante, Fabregas.
Yeah, you didn't have pace, but what you did have was players who were very good on the ball. And I think because of Arsenal is so good in pressing now, and the kind of the whole team defend, we are not necessarily in need of pacey central midfielders. I know a lot of people had big worries for Odegaard that he's a bit weak and he's a bit slow, but he's shown that he doesn't need it, And Xhaka as well, people were worried, but in an attacking role, he doesn't have pace. How what is he gonna bring? But, it's all about, I think, because Arteta is such a good manager, where he sets up a system where instead of your weaknesses get shown, your strengths get shown. And I think that's what we will see with Jorginho. Probably work it out where what he's good at, what he's going to do, what he's not good at, the others will do it. So, Saliba and Gabriel will help with the physical game, and Ben White as well. So And the fact that he, as I said, he's much more experienced than Sambi Lokonga. He's much more capable on the ball than Sambi Lokonga. Again, I rather Jorginho coming in playing than Lokonga or El Neni. So that's the plus. Yes, he's not Caicedo. Yes, I would have loved to have Caicedo. Yes, I would have loved to have Declan Rice. We didn't get them. We got someone. Now let's work with what we have. And the manager wanted him for years as well. So let's maybe in a new environment, a new manager, new tactics, new coaches, he might do well. And in the end, yes, Chelsea fans are laughing now, but if we win the league, then we will laugh.
And you have every right to.
Yeah.
Moss is in the
chat. What do you think?
Moss, do you want to join us, Moss? I'll put the link to the stream. Hi, my God, what's happening, Luke, Nippon, and the King? I'm walking. You're walking the dog. I understand. What's he say? Rose now. Tied United. Yeah, Mikel Arteta's made it. This is what Potter cannot do instantly with having 3 teams of players to train and keep happy. Yeah.
Apologies for eating on stream, by the way.
Who?
I said apologies for eating on stream.
No worries. Oh no, it's all right. It's night time. It's a chill.
I've had a lot. I've had a long day at work.
What did you make of Chelsea not letting go of CH and what's it? The former Arsenal player. What's his name again? The pacey winger. Yeah, Hutchinson. Filing the paperwork wrongly 3 times. That sounds a bit fishy when you've been able to sign so many players, but you can't. Is there more to it?
I don't know. Maybe we're just holding him hostage.
It kind of feels like.
Maybe it's like we wanted to keep him and said, "Nah, you're not going anywhere."
Yeah, that was.
It might have just been Todd Bowley getting confused, and he thought, "I need to get this Amari Hutchinson that everyone's after."
Yeah, he was trying to buy CH and Hutchinson, but realized that he was playing.
Yeah, I gotta get this.
Got some money on the
CH. He had a great World Cup. He plays for PSG.
Yeah. But that is going to be interesting, though, to see how Potter handled that big squad. When are you still in the FA Cup? No, you lost to City. So you got Champions League and Premier League. That's it.
Yeah.
And who are you playing? Who are you playing in Champions League?
Borussia Dortmund.
Okay, yeah, you got a good chance.
I think if we get an easy game in the I think the maximum we can get is semis. I think that's our level this season. Okay. And you know what? Given the fact that we've had such a season from hell, Champions League semi-final and a spot in Europe, I'll be fine with it, honestly.
Yeah. Where do you think Chelsea will finish the league? Your honest opinion.
Honestly, either 6th or 7th.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Do you think you could maybe catch Man United or Tottenham? Because no.
That's
how many points behind are you?
Tottenham are. They're still finding ways to shithouse results. We can't shithouse anything to save our lives. I don't see us finishing above either of those teams.
I think it's you got 10 points to Man United right now, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, come on. Look, Man United are on a different level to us right now, Paul.
Yeah, they are very good. The only thing with Man United is that the squad is quite thin. But they've impressed me.
Yeah. They get a few injuries. They haven't really got a striker. I know Weghorst came in. But if they get a few injuries...
Weghorst is decent. Weghorst is decent. Or as I would say, Weghorst shit.
But
I mean,
going for top four
he's
is not
what?
like going for the title. So 10 points can be made up quite easily.
Look,
Yeah, but the
put it
problem
this
is
way.
Chelsea's gonna have to go on a run, and that's I'm not sure if they settle enough to go on those long runs. I do think they will win games and they will beat teams, and they will obviously improve. They will not be as bad as they were at first, but can they be so good that they win 3-4 more games than Man United? And there's a lot of teams you have to go past as well. It's like you have to pass Brighton, you have to pass Spurs, you're gonna have to pass one of Newcastle and Man United. I do think you will finish above your Fulhams and those teams. I think
So
you
you
will
think
finish
Fulham
higher.
are going to drop off?
Yeah, naturally. They don't have a big squad. I don't think they will be bad, but I think you will finish above them.
We're not finishing higher than Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Liverpool are awful. Honestly, I thought that Liverpool were gonna get top 4. I've totally changed my mind. The problem with Liverpool's are many, but the main problem is the midfield, and they didn't address it this window. They did not address that midfield, and the back line as well is just leaking goals upon goals. So it's like
Luke,
Trent is not magically gonna turn into a defensive right back. You know, Milner is not magically become 20 years. Henderson is not magically gonna become 20 years. You know, the problems is not the
Henderson
coaching.
is gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, because Henderson's legs are gone, Milner's legs are gone,
Henderson
Fabinho.
used to be. Henderson at one point.
Yeah.
This might be capping. At one point, he was top 5 in the Premier League, in my opinion. Top 5 midfielders.
Yeah, it was. 100%. It was. I know he's never been a fancy midfielder, but he was so effective. He was so good. Like, you don't get the points Liverpool get, and you play week in, week out, and you're the captain, and you're not a good player. Like, you don't get those 97 points, 92 points by being a mediocre player.
And have you seen how Fabinho dropped off at the same time as Henderson did?
Yeah, that is where
Henderson made Fabinho look good.
Yeah,
looks like if that's I don't know if it's a Liverpool fan in the chat, but it seems that in the summer that every Liverpool fan that I was hearing talk on.
Jordan, are you a Liverpool fan?
Is that Liverpool?
Yeah, he is LFC at the end.
Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of Liverpool fans thought it was a given that they were going to get Jude Bellingham, this summer. They were talking last summer about this.
Jude Bellingham is going to Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham is going to Real Madrid.
Yeah, the problem with Liverpool now is that 90% sure they will miss out on Champions League. And with no Champions League, they will not get a Bellingham. They will not get a Rice. They won't be able to get that. And that's the problem for them. They need Champions League to get these big players in, because people don't want to live in Liverpool. So unless you are really winning and willing to spend big on wages, players are not coming. They rather go to London. They rather go to a Chelsea or to a Manchester or go to a Real or Barca. And that's the problem now with Liverpool. And I don't understand, like, they've spent almost 180 million on Diaz, Nunez, and Gakpo, and they haven't bought one midfielder in. I don't understand that. Like, I don't think they need Salah, Carvalho, Elliott, Firmino, Diaz, Jota, Nunez.
If I was Klopp, I would swallow my pride.
Yeah.
Ring up Bayern Munich and say, hello, can we have Goretzka? They'll say, sure, 80 million. Boom, there's 80 million.
But would Goretzka want to move from Germany to England and play for Liverpool?
Would you want to play for your fellow compatriot?
I don't know. Like
It
players are weird
it
these
could be
days.
well, the German thing.
Yeah,
Like Klopp is German, Goretzka's German. He might
yeah,
just be
maybe.
because of the German the German connection.
Can
Yeah.
Liverpool spend 80 million on anyone in the summer?
I don't think they can because the owners
I don't see why
pump
not.
in money, and they gotta have to sell someone, and who are they gonna sell that can bring them money in? And that's another problem.
Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson.
No one is paying more than 10 million pounds at his age, and he probably rather stay and just be a bench warmer.
Mo Salah at a cut, maybe at
Salah
50
on
million.
400k. Salah is on 400k. No one is taking that wages from him at his age. That's the problem as well.
Mm.
And Real Madrid has changed their policy. They just buy young players now. So they won't buy him. Barcelona can't afford him. Bayern Munich doesn't need him. Italy doesn't have money. Where does he go? That's the problem as well now, Nick. A lot of countries, they don't have money anymore. The money is in Premier League.
MLS, Qatar, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but Salah is what? He's
Australia.
31. I don't think he's another 3 years before he leaves.
Yeah, I don't think most Salah would want to go to Saudi. I mean, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, remember Oscar at Chelsea years ago went from the
yeah.
didn't he? But I'd be surprised if Mo Salah went from Liverpool to the Saudi Arabian League, this summer.
Yeah.
Luke, I don't think I've asked you this question before.
Yeah.
I've asked King. I've asked King. I've asked Melina. I've asked a lot of Arsenal fans this question. Who do you dislike more, Tottenham or Man United?
It's a good question. I think because I'm from where I'm from, definitely when I was a kid, it was definitely Man United because they were winning titles and there was loads of Man United fans. But I think over the years, it's definitely changed to Tottenham.
Yeah. Big up Melina, by the way, because I mentioned her. Big up yourself, Melina.
Yeah, big up Melina.
Yeah, I've not seen her for a while, actually. She was always in when Moss had his channel. She was always coming in on his chat.
Yeah. She got a new job, as a very good job as well. So I think that's why she's quite busy right now.
Okay.
With her new job, yeah. But yeah. So Nippon, in terms of Potter,
the team I hate
worried?
the most. The team I hate the most isn't even in England.
Is it Barcelona?
No, my most hated team is Celtic.
Celtic?
Oh, yeah, because he's a Rangers fan as well.
Yeah, I support Rangers as well.
Okay.
And plus, I'm not going to lie to you, it used to be Arsenal. But then Celtic fans started chanting about the Queen at their home games, saying like, Lizzie's okay. I'm not going to sing that song because I have a lot of respect for the monarchy. So they started singing songs about the Queen dying. So I was like, nah, you have really gone down in my estimations. All that little bit of respect I had for you has gone. They are now my most hated team. I mean, you don't expect me to say something. If you say something bad about the Queen or make fun of dead people, you don't expect me to be okay with that.
No. That I think that's taking it too far. Regardless,
look, you can have your opinions on the monarchy.
You should never wish death on anyone.
Look, I would never wish death on my worst enemy. I would never wish death on my worst enemy.
Yeah, it's like when I heard the news of Antonio Conte being sick, all the rivalry goes out of the way, and I wish him a
Of
speedy
course.
recovery because he's a human being. In the end, it's
Same
just
way.
football as well.
I saw a lot of Arsenal fans though in that Spurs post saying good. He supports Tottenham.
It's
He's on
ridiculous.
Twitter.
Sorry,
But
not
big up
supports.
Jordan
He
as well.
manages Tottenham.
Yeah. Big up Jordan. I know you're a Liverpool fan. So Nippon, well, what do you reckon is going to happen now with Potter? Do you think he can steady up? Are you worried he'll get fired? What's your view on this whole situation?
I honestly think Bowley isn't going to be that Roman trigger-happy firing owner. I think Potter's here to stay for the long term. Like, say if things don't improve in 2 to 3 years, I think that's when he'll be potted. But for now, he's going nowhere.
I agree. I think unless something ridiculous, like let's say next season you finish 10th, I think that would be it. But if you look at
that's when we pull the trigger.
Yeah, but if you look at Todd Bowley's track record with managers outside of football, he got patient with them and he likes to do long-term projects.
Yeah, he reminds me of Liverpool. Sorry, I'm not in front of the camera. I'm just getting something.
Yeah,
he reminds me a lot about Liverpool's owners.
Yeah. But the difference...
He spends. The difference...
Yeah, I was going to say that's the difference. That's the difference. Liverpool owners doesn't spend. So quickly, before we end the stream, I'm going to ask all of you, what's your final top 4 prediction and in which order? I'll start with you, Luke.
Okay, well, I'm going to back my team. I'm going to say Arsenal first. I'm going to say Manchester City second. Manchester United third. And, well, I'm definitely not saying Tottenham. So I'll go...
You don't have to be tribal. You can be honest.
Yeah, I don't think they are getting top 4. No, I think... I think Newcastle.
So is that a biased perspective or?
It's probably a little bit biased, but no, I actually generally think they've got some issues, and we've just spoken about Antonio Conte, and obviously we wish him well, but I think him not being on the touchline for I don't know how long could have a detrimental effect on them, and that could see the top 4 as they are now move away from them and then having difficulties catching up.
Yeah, and guys, in the chat, you can put your top 4 prediction and in which order in the chat, and we will read them out. What about you, Nippon? What's your top 4 prediction?
I'm gonna go the other way, from 4th to 1st.
Yeah.
So 4th, I'm going to go. I think it's too early for Newcastle. You're not gonna like this one, Luke. 4th, I'm gonna go Tottenham.
No,
I think they'll somehow. I don't know. Laugh at me. I have no idea why I'm saying this, but I feel somehow if there's any team that can't win the league, but can mount a late charge for top 4, it's Tottenham. So 4th. You see where I'm coming from, don't you?
They did it last year. Yeah.
Like they have, and plus they have the players to do it as well. Like Kane, Kulusevski, Bentancur in midfield. But yeah, 4th Tottenham.
Okay.
3rd, I'm going to go. This is going to surprise you even more. Man City.
Oh, wow. Okay. 2nd,
I'm going to go Man United. And I'll probably have to drink a lot of soap and water after saying this. But first, I'm going to go Arsenal.
Come to the dark side.
Wow. It's crazy.
Look how much I'm.
Yeah.
Look,
I think it's a testament.
Every time. Look, it's all banter and rivalry at the end of the day. You think the same for Man United, King. You think the same for Tottenham, Luke.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, for me, I think Newcastle get fourth. And the reason why is because they got the best defense in the league. It's so hard to score against them. I think they got like 10 clean sheets in 19 or 20 games, which is incredible. It kind of reminds me of a B-Tech Chelsea under Mourinho, where you got physical players, like Joe Linton is kind of the Ballack, and SCN in Bruno Guimaraes. They got those kind of players. They got Dan Burn, Botman, Shah. All physical players, tall players. You don't want to face them. You got Wilson, who's kind of a B-Tech Drogba. It's a very physical team, and then they got technical wingers. Almiron is your Robert. So I think they can get fourth. I've been so impressed with them, and I think Man United gets third. And I think something seems to be a bit wrong at Man City. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but they've actually weakened their squad. Cancelo, for the past 3-4 years, has been one of the best fullbacks in the world, not just Premier League, but in the world. And to lose him in his prime when he's 28 and not replace him, and you're going to have to rely on Lewis, Ake, and an injury-prone Walker, it's not ideal. So I think City finished second, and I think Arsenal nails it. I think the fact that we got Jorginho, we got Trossard, Kibio will not play.
Trossard is a good signing. Trossard is a good signing for you guys. I could easily be the tribal person and say, "Oh, he's shit because he plays for Arsenal." But look, I'm a football fan first. I'm football before club. And not many people are like that.
No. But yeah, I agree. I'm really excited with Trossard. I think he's gonna have a bigger role than people think. I think he's gonna play a lot. And I think the fact that Jesus will be back soon, he started to train on the pitch. We got Smith Rowe as well coming back. We actually got a squad now. And I think that's gonna help us tip us over. Where before, when we went to the bench, it was Eddie and Vieira and 4 other youngsters. That's not the case. We can actually make proper substitutions and change the game. And I think the fact that the whole fan base is behind the club and the players are hungry. They've not won the Premier League. They want to win it. Where I kind of almost feel like City, it's almost as if, because they've won it so much, they're so comfortable. It's almost like they believe that automatically they're going to go on a long run because they've done it so many times. And it's almost as if tricking. So, listen, it's going to be a long and tough season. City can still win it. They're good enough. But I do back Arsenal to do it.
Even though I said you guys would win the league, it would not surprise me one bit if Man City do it.
Of course. I think every sensible football supporter will say that City are still in it and they can still win it. And it wouldn't surprise anyone if they did, not even Arsenal supporters. And Jordans are Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Newcastle. Moses, Arsenal, City, Man United, Newcastle. We got Liverpool 5th. Wow. Brighton 6, Chelsea 7, Spurs 8. Not biased at all.
Yeah, that's definitely biased.
Yeah. Nippon, are you joining Red London? And by the way, Jordan is saying thank you.
Listen, just because I said Arsenal are going to win the league does not mean I want them to win it. I do not want Arsenal by any means to win the league. I hope Man City will come back. I just think you guys will win it.
Yeah. And Jordan is saying thank you for joining his transfer deadline day stream yesterday. Big up, Jordan. Gonna get you on the stream one day to do some content as well. But big up to everyone that is still with us. 12:30 almost in the UK. And I want to say a big thank you. Thank you to the panel, to Luke, to Nippon for coming and joining me on the stream. And big up Oris. I just seen you tuning in. I hope you're good, bro. Make sure you do subscribe to Oris Talk Football, to Jordan Himman Football as well, and to NS Sports TV, which is Nippon's channel. But yeah, it's been a good stream. Really looking forward to the second part of the season. And hopefully, after waiting almost 2 decades, Arsenal can finally lift the Premier League again. It's been way too long.
Come on, City!
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Luke, where can people find you?
They can find me on many chat rooms on many different YouTube channels, mainly Arsenal ones. So I've been normally in your chat or the Armory TV channels like that.
Big up. Nippon, where can
Big up the Armory TV.
Yeah, I've seen you in that chat as well, but Nippon, yeah.
Yeah, mainly to wind up Gunner King.
Okay.
Big up yourself, though, Gunner King. You're a nice guy.
Yeah, where can people find you, Nippon?
You can find me on NS Sports TV, the British lifestyle blogger. And on Instagram, you can find me on Nippon with 4 I's and 3 U's and Nippon Reviews Lifestyle. On Twitter, you can find me on NS Sports 93, which is my official YouTube Twitter. And and the Nippon Sharma, which is the Twitter I use most.
Big up. And yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to King's Football Show. Thank you for tuning in.